Hey, so we're back again. Okay, let's start again. How do I get into the... I gotta shake it out. Hey, so we're back again. This is Taylah Janese, and we're back with another video. This video is about the gap of an artist or a creative, period. So specifically coming from the lens of an artist, the gap, and I saw a post on this before, other people have talked about it. The gap of an artist is where you are, the gap, where you want to be. And I wanted to talk about my experience of dealing with this and what closes that gap, from my understanding of what closes that gap, why I am personally still here and not here. The gap. An example of how I know that I'm in the gap and why I get so frustrated is last night, I'm just thinking, I'm trying to go to sleep, but I'm having a hard time sleeping. I'm just thinking of ideas and I'm thinking about what I want to create next. And I have this idea, but it's like 3 different pieces, possibly 6 different pieces, depending on how I break it up. So it's a series, but it's based on one theme. Like all the pieces need to come together. I visualize this. I have the idea, I know how I want it to look. Every time this happens where I get an idea, I know how I want it to look, and then I try to execute. And I literally think, how am I going to execute this all the time? And sometimes it works out. Sometimes it's like, oh, I surprised myself. But other times, so often, while I'm still in this place of having the vision but not knowing how to execute, not having the skill set even to execute what it is that I want to execute, I flop. So the gap is knowing what you want, or maybe even still trying to figure out your style, but not having the skill set necessary to either execute what you want or continue honing in on any specific style, because the skill set, you're still developing. And I think that can be appropriate for any creative. I mean, comment down below what you do or how you relate to this if you do, but videographers or script writers, fashion designers, whatever it is that you do, photographers, there's like this image that you want, or you see other people's work and you admire other people's work. Me, I see other artists and I'm like, oh, that's lit, that's bomb, that's beautiful. There's some work that I'm like, that's great, that's their style, I love it, but I know that that's not my style. There's other work that I'm like, yo, I need to hone in on my style a little bit more, because that's great, like I wish I did that. But as you're developing your style, as you're developing the vision of what you want, or you think of a piece, you think of a project or an idea, you have not honed in on your skill set enough. Your skill set is not consistent with what you want to create. So that leads to, why am I in this gap? There ain't nobody to blame but myself and time, okay? I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna just put myself out there. Inconsistency. This is not to say like if you just start, everyone's gonna be in the gap at some point. You know what you like, you can't do what you like. Period. That just happens. In the beginning, you gotta start somewhere. But if you've been doing this, then the real reason is just inconsistency, time, effort, attention, work, honing in on your skill. I'm talking to myself. I know there are so many times where I'm like, I would be further along. There are still core things that I should be great at, that I'm still trying to learn, that I'm still trying to practice, that I'm still trying to develop my muscle for in my artistic ability. And why am I not where I want to be? Because of the discipline. Like as artists, as creatives, we have this mindset of you're just a free spirit and you just do whatever and you just create and it's fun. But what happens when you don't feel like it that day? Or what happens when you're not actively working, you just passively sketching, you're staying in your comfort zone? That's where discipline has to kick in. You have to push yourself. You have to acknowledge, where have I been slacking? How have I not been paying attention to my craft? How have I not been honing in on my craft? My issue is that inconsistency, lack of discipline, and that keeps me in the gap. That keeps me from how am I gonna develop a style when I'm not moving my muscle? How are you gonna know what works for you or what you really, really love to do when you're not developing your style? So I've definitely learned more about my craft as I continue to work on it. I've definitely learned more of what I like to do, what I don't like to do. Don't gotta get into that right now, but I've learned more. It's just at a way less accelerated pace at what I would like, because I don't work at it often. How do you minimize this gap? Work, Work sometimes don't sound fun. We just wanna, on a whim, decide if we wanna create today, if we don't wanna create today. There's like this ideal fantasy expectation of like, if you're an artist, you just wanna create all the time, every day. And maybe most do. There's a lot of artistic people that I know though, myself included, work ethic gotta be there. Cause you may love what you do. Singers, I'm talking to all of y'all. Singers, poets, songwriters, writers in general, artists, videographers, whatever you do, work ethic has to be there. Minimize the gap, work at your craft, do what you gotta do to get to the place where you're not trying to create what you want to create, but also practicing. No, get to the place where you can just, the skill is there, the work is there, the hours are there. Put in the hours and do what you gotta do. Create the masterpieces that you want to create. That's something that I'm struggling with, but I'm gonna power through and I'm gonna keep working because I got these ideas in my mind and I gotta execute them somehow because I can't show other people what's in my mind if I can't execute it. So do what you gotta do. Work at your craft. Your craft is important. Your vision is important. It's valuable. It's going to impact somebody in the world and it's good for your mental health. Do what you gotta do. Get to work, okay? Once this video finishes, get to work. Go, do it, whatever it is that you do, all right? Thanks for watching, people. Love y'all. Peace out. Catch you at the next one.